A killer behind bars, a uniform stolen, and a prison system exposed. On May 25th, 2025, in the quiet, rural town of Calico Rock, Arkansas, a man disappeared from one of the state's most secure prisons. That man, not just any inmate, he was a former police chief and a convicted murderer. This is the story of Grant Hardin, a man trusted to protect, who chose to kill, and how he managed to walk right out of prison. Here is what happened according to the news.
Sunday, May 25th, around 3:40 p.m., an inmate at the North Central Unit in Calico Rock escaped custody. But this wasn't just any inmate. This is Grant Hardin, rapist, murderer, and ex-police chief. From August 1990 until May 1991, Hardin worked for the Fayetteville Police Department after he was terminated for his tendency to not accept constructive criticism and indecisiveness under stressful situations. He worked for the Huntsville Police Department, and from 1993 till 1996, he worked for the Eureka Springs Police Department. And I believe it was here that he was let go of for using excessive force. In the early 2000s, he worked for Benton County, and in 2016, he was police chief of Gateway, Arkansas, which sits literally on the border of Missouri.
Grant isn't only mastered the act of escape, he is more notorious than we think and has committed a lot of cold crimes in the past before getting convicted.
And it was there, just outside Gateway, that on February 23rd, 2017, 59-year-old James Appleton, who worked for the Gateway Water Department, was on his way home, and he was talking on the phone to his brother-in-law, who happened to be the mayor. And Grant Hardin pulled up and shot him in the head. In October 2017, Hardin pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and was sentenced to 30 years. While in prison, his DNA sample was tested to see if it matched any other cold cases. And it did. His DNA matched a cold case from 1997, a rape of an elementary school teacher. This teacher had been in her classroom at the Frank Tillery Elementary School in Rogers, Arkansas. And it was a Sunday, and she was in her classroom getting her lesson plan ready for the next week while a church service was being held in the cafeteria. She went to use the restroom in the teacher's lounge, and when she came out, she was attacked by a disguised man who held her at gunpoint and assaulted her. For that, he was sentenced to 50 years in 2019. It hasn't.
The big question in everyone's mind is, how did he escape? 8 years into his sentence, Grant Hardin did something no one expected. On the morning of May 25th, 2025, Memorial Day weekend, Hardin vanished from Calico Rock Prison. No alarms, no alerts, just gone. And what shocked everyone even more, he walked out dressed as a guard. Yes, you heard that right. Grant Hardin somehow got hold of a correctional officer's uniform. He timed the shift changes, watch guard routines, and then he simply walked out through the front gate.
It hasn't really been released how exactly Grant Hardin managed to escape, but it appears that he had been wearing a makeshift outfit designed to mimic law enforcement, and it's believed he exited through a sally port, a controlled entry point in the prison. And surveillance images shows him wearing black pants, a black shirt, a black baseball hat, and what appears to be a bulletproof vest. And it looks like he's wheeling out a box and some wood. This doesn't make a lot of sense yet, but hopefully it will as more details come out. Either way, Grant Hardin is still on the run, and he is considered extremely dangerous. He has a background in law enforcement training, and he's been described as a man with no moral core, no sense of right and wrong, and no empathy. There is a multi-agency manhunt going on for him as we speak. But until he is safely back in custody, everybody in Arkansas and Missouri, please be aware. While he is from Benton County, it is likely that he may try to jump that Missouri state line. There is a concern about him taking hostages in order to get cars or whatever he needs to get away. So if you think you might have seen this man, do not approach him. He is very, very dangerous. Please just alert your local authorities immediately. This man is scary. He is dangerous. So I really want y'all to take this seriously, okay? Everybody stay safe out there.
On June 6th, 2025, just shy of 2 full weeks after the escape, officers found him less than 2 miles from the prison. He had been hiding in thick brush and caves near the White River, surviving on rainwater and scavenged food. Sunburned, weakened, but very much alive. Grant Hardin was taken back into custody without resistance. The aftermath was swift and brutal for the prison system, that is. An internal investigation exposed glaring failures. Uniforms were not tracked properly. Surveillance systems were outdated. Head counts were rushed and inaccurate. In short, Grant Hardin had exploited every crack in the system. Arkansas lawmakers called for immediate reforms. Federal officials demanded oversight. And across the country, questions echoed in every prison warden's office. Could this happen here? Grant Hardin is now back behind bars, under 24/7 surveillance.
Y'all want to change him out?
Yeah, we're gonna strip it.
Oh, okay.
But the story doesn't end there. How does a convicted murderer and former police chief manage to escape undetected? Was it just incompetence, or was someone on the inside helping him? And if he hadn't been caught, what would he have done next? A killer in uniform, a system asleep at the wheel, and a nation reminded. Sometimes the most dangerous criminals are the ones who once swore to serve and protect. This was the story of Grant Hardin, the police chief turned fugitive. What do you think happened inside those prison walls? Was this just a one-man plot, or the tip of something bigger? Drop your thoughts and theories in the comments. Subscribe for more true crime stories that leave no stone unturned.